Buildings have come a long way from just being places of shelter. They are now works of art, tests of structural engineering boundaries, and astonishing feats of ingenuity and creativity. Heck, buildings do not even have to be dull or static anymore. Some designs have become so dynamic they can be very moving. Literally. Continue watching to see some amazing moving buildings that will surely impress you. Suite Villard. This building was built by a team of architects headed by Bruno DeFranco and David Fisher, who wanted to put their own spin on the concept of futuristic buildings. Literally, the Suite Villard in Parana, Brazil is the world's first spinning building. Each of the 11 floors out of the 15 it consists of can rotate 360 degrees clockwise or counterclockwise in 1 hour. So if it's always a challenge for you to pick an apartment with a garden view or a sea view, then the Suite Villard is the place for you. But don't break out your checkbook just yet. Each apartment in this building sold for approximately $400,000 US. The Dynamic Tower. Suite Villard wasn't the only masterpiece coming from architect David Fisher. The Italian founder of dynamic architecture wanted to add even more of a twist to modern-day architecture when he designed the Dynamic Tower to be built in Dubai. Each of the 80 floors of this tower are designed to rotate independently, with a full rotation in 180 minutes, giving residents a 360-degree view of the desert, sea, and the city. This project has been in the works since 2008, but it's hoped that it'll be completed in 2020. Take a look at the amazing design. Also known as the Da Vinci Tower, it's set to be the second tallest building in Dubai, and also the first building in Dubai to be self-powered, with solar panels on its roof and wind turbines placed horizontally between each floor. This building might have even left Leonardo da Vinci at a loss for words. Sharifiha House. From buildings with a different twist to one that is a bit out of the box, the Sharifiha House is a modern residential building in Tehran, Iran, that was created in 2013 by an Iranian architectural studio called Next Office. This luxurious building that stands on 1,400 square meters consists of 7 floors, an elevator, a swimming pool, and a huge private gym. But that's not what's most impressive about this house. 3 of its rooms look like giant wooden boxes and can rotate up to 90 degrees outside. Eureka! Just imagine that when the weather is cold, the rooms can remain closed, and when the sun shines, the rooms can be put to face the outside. Almost like interior to exterior designing at the push of a button. You get the best of both worlds. Bund Finance Center. Inspired by traditional Chinese theater curtains, the Western harp, and ancient Chinese crowns, the exterior of this center has 3 moving layers, or curtains, of vertical golden bronze stainless steel pipes. These pipes hang from the 3rd above ground floor and rotate around the building by electric motors. They even do this to music. Who said financial centers can't be dynamic? Kiefer Technic Showroom. Speaking of making lackluster offices more exciting, take a look at this showroom that really provides a mind-blowing show. Ernst Gieselbrecht and partner created the Kiefer Technic Showroom, which is an office building and exhibition space in Austria with a dynamic facade that can be changed based on its occupants' conditions and needs. Inhabitants can adjust the light and temperature by using 56 engines to control the 112 exterior metal tiles. The result is amazing to watch. It's also hard to believe that it does this so quietly. Dubai Apple Store. Dubai has a reputation for having everything bigger and more extravagant than anywhere else. And since the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree, it's not a surprise that the Apple Store there would be any different. The design of the Dubai Apple Store is based on the traditional Arabic mashrabiyya, a projecting bay window bounded by decorative wooden screens. The location itself is noteworthy, as it's alongside the majestic Burj Khalifa and overlooks the famous Dubai fountains. But the main feature of the mall is that the carbon fiber screens designed to protect the space from sun pivot out to enclose the space during the day, but open to give access to the terrace at night, imitating the motion of an eagle flapping its wings, which is why it's dubbed Solar Wings. Thematic Pavilion. You might think something's fishy with this next building, but don't worry, it's meant to be that way. The main design intent of the thematic pavilion in Yeosu, South Korea was to embody the 2012 Expo's theme of the living ocean and coast. This pavilion is made of glass fiber reinforced polymers that can morph into a number of patterns. The topographic lines turn into movable lamellas that are used to control light conditions during the day. At night, the analog visual effect of the moving lamellas is intensified by LEDs. You really have to see it to believe it. Penumbra. Do you ever wish that your window shades could be adapted depending on where the sun is? Tired of just having two options? Well, one architectural student, Tyler Short, came up with a solution and developed an alternative, the Penumbra shading system. This system would hang in front of windows like normal shades that can be pivoted left and right to adapt to the east and west orientations of the sun. They even fold upwards to create a horizontal shade to beat the high afternoon sun. Look at this spectacular facade in action. Some serious SPF. Garden house. After his mom asked for a pavilion that could be used for dinner parties, theater performances by her grandchildren, painting and meditating, Casper Scholes got to work and created this fabulous garden house in Eindhoven. While it looks like a typical garden shed, it can be turned into different layouts depending on the activity and the weather. He separated the inner beam and glass structure from the outer wooden walls and metal roof and placed them on runners. Yep, the walls part in the middle and can be wheeled inwards and outwards. He did this with no formal architectural training. Best son ever or modern day Moses? Dynamic D House. This next building is so dynamic, the company that made it just had to add the word to its name. Known as the Dynamic D House, it can transform into 8 different configurations depending on what the inhabitants want it to be. It can be adapted to the weather and the time of day. The internal walls become external, the windows become doors, and the rooms fold out on rails to allow for smooth relocation of partitions. This is a dynamic way of showing that inner beauty is just as important as outer beauty. Am I right? Zoomlion headquarters. It's not a bird or a plane, but just a building that looks like an insect. That's right, the Californian architecture company Amphibian Arc designed a transformer building facade for a Chinese machinery company, Zoomlion, that flaps like the wings of a huge insect. The company used a double skin system where the inner skins take care of the enclosure and building systems, while the outer skins can be opened and closed to mimic different animal forms. The north of the rectangular building transforms into an eagle and butterfly, and the south transforms into a swimming frog. No surprise then that this building created such a buzz. Cobra Tower. This next building may not yet be actualized, but the concept is too amazing not to mention. The model of the Kuwait Cobra Tower, or Burj Cobra, was dreamed up by the CGI firm CDI Gulf International. It's supposed to rotate to give a cool spiral effect, as seen here. Unfortunately, this project was expected to begin in 2008, but is now dormant, and there seems to be no indication that it will be pursued. But if you have the money, the Cobra Tower would be one fascinating building to help create. Fully rotating houses. These next 2 houses are dynamic on a much smaller scale than some of the previously mentioned rotating buildings, but they are impressive nonetheless. Just look at this beach house built by Jack Studio in the British seaside town Eastbourne. This hut is on a recessed, remote-controlled turntable that allows visitors to turn and track the sun's path all day. What is even cooler, or maybe warmer is more appropriate, is that it was inspired by the coin slot binoculars that allow people to gaze out into the sea. Moving southeast to Italy, architect Roberto Rossi also built a house that can rotate 360 degrees. The octagonal house is balanced on the central pillar and can be mechanically rotated to give varied views and to direct its solar panels toward the sun as the house generates all its own energy. Rossi's client had a passion for machines and mechanisms and wanted a house that was able to change its point of view of the landscape. I guess these are the 2 times where you wouldn't mind if your world is spinning. A house in 8 minutes. But what if you can transport your house everywhere? No, not an RV, but a house that would put itself together in 8 minutes. Unbelievable? Well, Tenfold Engineering has designed prefab buildings, which are modular structures that can be transported anywhere on a lorry and self-deployed at the push of a button. Each unit expands to 3 times its transport size at 64 square meters, and even has solar panels and bolt-on battery storage for off-grid living. Prefab or prefabulous? This makes me want to pursue a wandering nomad lifestyle. Gemma Observatory. This one is really reaching for the stars. Designed by Anamahi and Wenton Architects, the top of this faceted private observatory in central New Hampshire rotates to provide different views of the night sky. The Gemma Observatory is the ideal spot for stargazing, as it sits on a remote peak at the center of a dark zone with a 3-mile radius. Usually these observatories are domes, but this amazing building has an angular form designed to mimic its jagged granite surroundings. The observatory was designed to accommodate 1 occupant, and the ground floor has enough room for an office, a sleeping bunk, and a warming room. A helical staircase takes you up to the platform inside the turret, equipped with a large telescope and camera array. The turret can be rotated by 1 person, and a sliding hatch opens the telescope to the sky. For all that, it won the AIA Small Projects Award 2017, so it's safe to say that a star was born with this design. So what do you think? Did any of these buildings move you? Let me know which one you thought was the coolest in the comments down below. Thanks for watching.